All right, we are back with the Move Worthy podcast. This is Jenny.
And Lauren.
And we are going to talk about selling houses in today's market. Like, what does it look like to list and sell a house today? I think we're in a very volatile market.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the data later. The numbers just from October to November have changed significantly. But we have some listings, and some of them move faster than others. Some of them sit on the market. So what is everybody looking for? What is the reason, and when should we start reducing prices? And that's what we're going to get into today. So, Lauren, how are things looking for you on your listings? What are you seeing? What are the trends? And
so I think that what things that are moving are your lower price point, the houses that need a little bit of repair. I think people's thought process right now is the less that they can finance at a higher interest rate, the better. So if they can buy something that is lower priced and mortgage that and then do the repairs on their own, I think that's more appealing to today's buyers. I still think investors are in it. I think that the higher price point homes are sitting significantly longer than the lower price point homes. I think there's buyers out there.
yeah,
I just, I think that what they're looking for right now compared to, what they were looking for a few years ago is a complete 180.
yeah, I agree. Even looking back 6 months to a year, we saw some of those higher price point houses moving.
Yeah.
I think that gave some of the sellers the ambitions to try to sell theirs, and now a lot of those higher price point homes are sitting. And look, most of them, I say most, there's a good handful of them that have not even reduced their price. They're just holding on.
Yeah.
And I have one of those right now too. And our thought process is it the price or is it just the time on the market? So, and usually I'm like real quick to reduce prices. I tell all of my clients, look, if we don't get any calls or showings or even any offers in the first 2 weeks, maybe 3, we're pushing it, especially in a fast-paced market.
I don't think that's
not today.
Not
at all. Not at all. I mean, I've been following the numbers, following the houses that have gone under contract. A lot of them have done at least one price reduction, but they were also on the market quite a while, I think, before
60,
they did.
90 days.
Before they decided to do
Before they did make a price reduction. And we talked about this the other day. The ones that are making that price reduction after 60 or 90 days are actually, their stuff's actually happening, which is crazy because it could be just a slight decrease. So what does that say? What are buyers doing? Are buyers sitting back and just watching and waiting? And when they do a price jump, they're like, oh, I better snag this because someone else will.
Might. Yes.
We said that is that what's happening right now?
Yeah, I think you might be right because a lot of the ones that I saw that were pending and even the most recent sales, and I'm talking things above 450,000.
Yes.
Like these larger prices, these larger homes, one price reduction, and then not too long after under contract.
Yep.
Even up to a year ago, some of the ones that I've been using for comparables with the larger homes, even those might have taken one price reduction before they went under contract. And I think you might, we were right. We talked about that the other day.
Yep.
Are they just watching these houses, knowing that they're not moving, and then as soon as they see a change, they're jumping on it?
Yep.
That's very possible.
Absolutely.
But there's so much, even for us, there's so much uncertainty.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm looking at houses on the market right now above, let me pick a number. I'm going to say above 400,000. There's 30 in St. Charles Parish. So I'm looking at St. Charles Parish.
St. Charles Parish, yeah.
In Louisiana, in our parish, 30 houses, 400,000 and above. And the ones that are coming in, 32, 33, 34, they're in the high threes, 380 and up. So that's a lot of houses just kind of hanging out.
But it's a seller's market.
Yes.
So what does that say? What does that say? That there's got to be movement on houses under 300,000.
Absolutely. I mean, so I guess I'll jump into a little bit of the data. Just last month, and even on our podcast, we said that Luling was moving into a buyer's market. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the data today, and it has
now a seller's market.
It's bounced right back down. So St. Charles Parish as a whole was kind of balanced. Luling was moving in. Luling by itself, now, we're just separating these communities out. Luling by itself was moving into a buyer's market. I pull up the data today for this podcast, and St. Charles Parish as a whole has bounced back into a seller's market. Luling is trending more into a balanced market, and I think it's because these houses are sitting.
Yeah.
So as a whole for St. Charles Parish, 4.25 months worth of homes for sale on the market today, and they are sitting there for roughly 30 days for sold properties. That's what the days on market looks like for those. That's 137 homes for sale right now. Mm-hmm. And the average time on market for those 137 is 78 days. That's increased.
Yeah.
And people ask us every day, how's the market?
We don't know. Ask tomorrow.
What I tell you today, literally,
it could change tomorrow.
Because I think we just did that podcast 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I tell people it's very volatile, and the slightest changes, the little upticks or downticks in interest rates are either pushing people forward or pulling them back. Mm-hmm. I did hear someone say insurance rates might be
coming down a little bit. I did hear that too.
I really hope so, because that's what it's going to take to get some of these homes to move
over that hump.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think too, it's been a crazy year. We had a giant election this year, obviously, and now it's the holidays. It's Christmas time,
which is a normal downtime in real estate.
Yeah, you see some people kind of pop out in the holiday.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it kind of slows down a little bit. I've seen some really great fourth quarters being in real estate. This one is shaky. Last year, I think, was
the whole year.
Shaky. Yeah, it's all shaky today.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to 25. I think it's going to be a good year. I think it's going to be nice and fresh, and people are going to come out and start looking, maybe start listing some other homes.
I think it's going to become a buyer's market for sure, and hopefully it'll stay like that for a while.
Yeah, especially if a lot of these listings roll over into the new year.
New year, yes.
And then new ones come on the market.
I mean, they're going to roll over into the new year. If they're on the market and not under contract.
You're right.
I mean, we'll be the end of January, beginning of February before these are closing.
We'll be in the first quarter will be done.
For sure.
Yeah, you're right.
For sure.
You're definitely right about that. So what if you're looking to sell a house right now, obviously you're probably looking at the market and you're maybe not feeling it, maybe really nervous. Why do you need to sell? Are you looking to buy something else and there's just nothing else out there for you right now? Are you staying within the parish? Are you moving out of state? Those are some of the questions that we usually ask. But what does it take to sell a house? What are buyers looking for? What are you seeing right now?
So kind of, circling back to what I said before, I think that with the market the way that it is right now, I would advise my sellers to do less.
Okay.
And I say that because I think more buyers are willing to come in and do some, as opposed to you doing it and charging $50,000 more because you put new cabinets in a bathroom. I do think that sellers need to be patient.
Yes.
Because there is just no rhyme or reason
to why one
in
goes
a day
in the
by
other
day. There's no rhyme or reason to that. So I would probably advise my sellers not to, invest a ton to put their house on the market. Clean it up. Of course, you want it to look like it's well maintained.
Yes.
And you want it to have some curb appeal, but don't go redo your bathroom or your kitchen at this point in the market. I mean, you just don't, first of all, you don't know if you'll recoup that money. You know, somebody that if you are willing to list it $30,000 less because you're not going to do those repairs, they might not put $30,000 into the kitchen. They may be able to do it for $10,000. Whereas they're not going to be willing to, or not going to be, I'm not saying willing, they're going to be less apprehensive on, you know, financing an additional 30 or 50,000 because you put a kitchen remodel
because
in.
Things are remodeled.
Yes.
Yes. And I think that's a big change from what we saw
Oh,
in
absolutely.
years prior.
In years prior, they wanted pristine, everything done, and that's just not what I'm seeing right now.
You're right. I want, you know, even paint, little things that we look at it every day. So we're like, oh, we could change, you know, changing out a bathroom, changing out some ceiling fans, painting, not really a big deal. But a few years ago, people weren't having it.
No.
Probably, I would say early 2020s, and then even right before that, 16, 17, 18. This is what this market kind of feels like. Things are kind of hanging around, but the difference is I think more people are willing to put a little work in and get a little bit lower sale price.
Yes.
Yeah, I see that. Of course, a lot of homes were remodeled after Ida.
Yep.
Those are some of the ones that are selling for big money.
Yeah.
They're completely redone.
Yep.
And then you have some of the ones who may not have had a lot of damage, may still need some updates. We're seeing some of those. I think there was a big house in Willowdale recently that just sold under 400. It was dated. It's a nice big house on the golf course.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably a manageable project for someone. And then once they move into it and redo it, the value is going to increase.
Absolutely.
I mean, as long as we can sell some of these houses.
Right.
The value is definitely going to increase.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have one coming up right now. We're going to do minimal.
Yeah.
To get it on the market and get it sold, not going sky high in pristine condition, getting it right in at the value that's perfect for our first time home buyer. You know, and that's going to be coming up hopefully within a month.
Yep.
So,
I mean, and it kind of it goes. The market goes in waves. You know, it's like a roller coaster. You know, when interest rates are 2.9%, somebody is willing to pay top dollar to do absolutely nothing. But when your interest rates are in the 6s and the 7s,
I can paint that room.
I can paint that room. Yes,
I can do my own bathroom.
Their mindset changes.
Yes,
it changes a little, you know. And right now we're battling insurance costs, so that's always something that's rolled in. And you know, the truth is, the higher your price point is, the more insurance you have to have. So if you buy a house that needs a $50,000 kitchen and you buy it for $150,000, guess what? You're not insuring it for $200,000, which is what that kitchen's going to cost for you to redo. You're only insuring it for $150,000. Well, most of them make you do replacement costs, but I'm saying, in what, you know, ultimately you have to insure what you're mortgaging. Right. So you're not insuring that extra $50,000 kitchen
remodel,
but you still having the coverage that you need, because most of these insurance companies are requiring you to do replacement costs, but replacement costs on 150, not replacement costs on 200.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it
so
does.
Then your insurance premiums are lower too.
Right.
So there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of reasons right now why, you know, the lower price point homes are moving. Yeah,
I think so. I think and look, we're not saying that these higher price point homes are not worth it.
No.
Some of these homes are gorgeous.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy. I'll see things fly off the market, and I never would have thought, you know, maybe they would have got that price for it. And then they do. And then some of the ones that I think is a great price, they're sitting. So I think it's just the timing right now. And
like you said, volatile.
It's so volatile. Literally 2 weeks ago, we were talking about a buyer's market, and the percentages on that have changed significantly.
What was it, 14% in the last 30 days?
Oh gosh, let me go find that what it was. So
I think it was a 14%.
Just so the median home values plus 0.3% in the last month. That change is plus 0.12 over the last 12 months. But let me find the 14%. Want to know what you're talking about. Let's see, where are we? Okay, the months of supply of homes on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 4.25 months worth of homes for sale on the market today. So if we were to buy up all those homes, there'd be none left.
Yeah.
In 4 months, if we were to sell them all, that is minus 14% from last month.
Drop.
Yep. So whatever was on the market either expired, canceled, or sold.
Yep.
In just a month, and that's great for the numbers. But if you look at the year, the 12-month change on this is plus 10.4%. So last year at this time, we had 10% less homes on the market.
Mm-hmm.
And even last year this time, the market was kind of shaky. I mean, I don't have my numbers in front of me to see what we did in the month of December last year. But, I mean, those are significant minuses and increases. That just goes back to show how volatile this market is. The littlest change in, I guess, the economy, the interest rates, the insurance rates, it's changing things.
Yep.
So, and I think too, some of these homes that I've been really following, because I have some listings that are kind of just sitting in there. I'm following them. I'm waiting for them to see if they're going to reduce any prices, but they're holding on.
You know what else is struggling right now is vacant land.
Mm.
Vacant land, especially in St. Charles Parish. We've seen that it just, the land, I mean, I think just the expense and the cost of, you know, a build, number one, if you're in residential, and the uncertainty of insurance. Yes. So you have existing homes that have flood insurance policies that you can assume. But all this new land, look at that neighborhood, that brand new neighborhood right there in Luling.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a bunch of lots for sale.
They do.
Available. They still have a bunch that's owned by builders that they haven't even listed for sale.
Yep.
But I think vacant land's kind of been a struggle because, you know, I think just the extra expenses of doing the build right now is...
Right. Well, and you're right. Flood insurance as a whole in St. Charles Parish is high. Whether you're X or AE,
it doesn't matter.
And you're right. The new builds, when you go in there, there's no policy to assume.
I mean, you're going straight into a possible $5,000 flood policy.
Yes, there's no way.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
Oh gosh, yes. And if you're AE, it's required by your mortgage company. If you're X, it's not. But then
you're in Southeast Louisiana.
And you're taking,
do you not?
We talked about this too. You're taking the risk of something happening, and you have a brand new $500,000 home.
Yeah.
You know, around that. That's you know, new homes. I think right now in St. Charles Parish, brand new, anywhere from $235,000, depending on the size and where you are, all the way up to, I would imagine, $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of these new homes going up in Ashton, I imagine those are.
Oh yeah.
Some of the big ones are $1 million homes. So
absolutely.
When you build that from scratch and you don't have a policy to assume, you are now taking on a major cost in flood insurance. So you're right. That's got to be the hold
a factor
on vacant land. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot there. I mean, look, everybody wants to know if it's a good time to buy. Is it a good time to sell? If you need to buy or sell a house, obviously, start looking, put your house on the market, reach out to a trusted realtor, someone who knows the area, who knows the business, knows how to market and sell a home, and will give you the best bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm.
And then get your house on the market. And we, as realtors, are going to do everything. I mean, of course, Lauren and I will. No, but seriously, we as realtors, we're going to do everything we can to try to get your home sold. That is our job.
Yep.
And then we're going to do everything we can to help you find the perfect home to purchase. So whether it's today or whether it's in 25 or even if you're holding out for just one more year to see what happens, you know, we're always available to help. And I like the data. I'm always digging into it. I never really thought I was a data person until recently. I'm like, man, it's actually, this volatile market is really interesting to see just the fluctuations. So
I like data and I like using it, you know, when you're comparing things. But I'm not a remember data kind of person. So don't ask me next month what the data looked like last month.
Right.
I'll talk about it right here and right now, but that's the end of it.
No, you're good on the numbers. I mean, yeah, I like the way that you approach the numbers from a value standpoint. I mean, you really helped out my client recently, and she was ecstatic about what I told her the other day. So yeah, depends on what you need. One of us got you.
Right.
All right. Well, we're gonna call it. This was selling a house in today's market. Is it a good idea? What do you need to do? What do price reductions look like? When should you reduce a price? All of those things. That's what we do on the daily. So this is the Move Worthy podcast with myself, Jenny Lindley, and
Lauren Jones.
And together we have the experience to move you forward.